Okay, I want to discuss acting and what I think acting represents and what kind of talent I think is required to act, and how acting kind of fits into the bigger picture of a film as kind of a creative thing, as a piece of art, what the acting represents. Because I think that acting tends to be overrated. I think people tend to overrate the talent level required for acting, and what it takes to be an actor a little bit. Actors certainly, I'm sure they do difficult stuff. They go to training, they throw their voice, and some can do it better than others. And there does a certain amount of talent of some kind is required to kind of get into a character who's not you and play that successfully. But it's not a rare talent. It's not a rare talent. It's not ceiling of the Sistine Chapel Michelangelo type stuff. It's something that a lot of people can do. Picking the right actor for the correct role, or a right actor, the right type of actor for the correct role is a huge thing. And the right actor can make or break a movie, depending on how they're cast, how the film is how the film is produced around them, or to fit their character, however you would describe it. A great example that you can see on YouTube would be Back to the Future. This was 30 years ago. That's amazing. It's 30 years ago. That's depressing to think about. I remember when that movie came out. So Eric Stoltz was the original guy that they started filming with, the star of Mask. This is a long time ago. But anyhow, you can see this on YouTube. And it was a much less entertaining movie in those scenes that he was in, before finally halfway through they cut him and they brought Michael J. Fox in. And Michael J. Fox had kind of that physicality, that sort of humor to him that made the character that Eric Stoltz didn't have. But I think it would be a little wrong to say Michael J. Fox made that a great movie. I bet there was probably a lot of people out there similar who could have made it a great movie similar to Michael J. Fox. I think the best way to understand actors is to think of them as tools when you're making a sculpture, or when you're making a painting, or whatever the case may be, where you have to pick the right tool. And there are some tools that are really good and much better than other tools. But I think it's wrong to see actors the way that a James Pimpton actor's studio type guy sees them, where he'll describe Robert De Niro and Al Pacino are geniuses. It's particularly character actors, I think, tend to be terrifically overrated. People who play the same type of role in every film that they do, and we tend to associate their characters with them to an extreme degree. Like Christopher Walken would be a great example. He plays the same kind of intense gangster type character in pretty much every film that he does with this. So basically he plays one kind of character in every film that we've come to relate to, and a lot of people might think that the guy's just epic. He's a complete badass, and he does a role he does the same role. Meryl Streep would be another great example. She plays the same kind of tragic, deep in thought, she same character. Al Pacino, great example, like The Godfather, which made him, big and famous. I think you could make a case he was maybe the weakest actor of all the characters there, of all the main characters. Marlon Brando, I forgot the name of the guy who played his younger brother, Freddie. James Caan, his older brother Sonny, Robert Duvall. I mean, it's an amazing cast, and whoever was in that part, as long as they somewhat fit it, that's who we would associate with Michael Corleone to this day. The fact that Al Pacino was chosen for that part, in fact, I think you could even make the case he kind of like trying a little bit too hard, and his don't ask me about my work again. It's just but that's the role he plays in like every film, and then he's just outbursts, Tony Montana, right? Or Same thing in I'm going to put a flamethrower into this place. He plays the same, and we like that, and we associate his style of acting to that particular character that he plays in every film. But again, is this Brandon Burke concerto type genius? His ability to create those characters? I don't think so. And that's basically true with every actor. I mean, it's I'm from the New York area, so I've probably seen, I don't know, like a dozen or maybe 10 or something Broadway or off-Broadway plays. I've seen a few. Growing up, we'd see whatever. And there's thousands of people out there who, if they were cast in the right role, if they were given the correct lighting and the right script, the right promotion, the right sound, all this stuff, could be Hollywood stars. We would look at them and like, oh wow, that's amazing. We would, and I think the reason actors tend to be overrated is that people kind of emotionally bond with them on some level. I don't know if that's the right word, but they become familiar with them as an actor and what they bring to the screen, and sort of emotionally associate them with that. So when we see Robert De Niro, I can't even think of what he's been in recently. Brad Pitt, when we see Brad Pitt's character in Moneyball or something like that, he's playing Billy Bean. We tend to think of Brad Pitt kind of gave us that experience, or Al Pacino as Michael Corleone in The Godfather, he gave us that experience, or Robert De Niro in, is it called Bull Run or Bull whatever, all the different movies that he's been in, Meet the Parents, whatever. We tend to think of him as like he personally gave us that experience. It's a little bit more difficult to think of it was him, but it could have been someone else who was in that role. When we think of these roles that the characters play, and then to kind of back up and to think of it as from the production standpoint of how this movie could have been, because you can't think of what The Godfather was with another actor. People like Robert, who's that hippie actor? I forgot his name. So embarrassing. Anyways, there was a lot of other actors considered for that role, and if they had been in that role, that's who we would associate with The Godfather to this day, and we would, we associate that experience of Michael Corleone with Robert Redford. That's right. He was considered for that role. We would think to this day of Robert Redford as The Godfather. So I think that's how, when you're thinking of talent, when you're thinking of skill, it's important, I think, to kind of back up and think of the movie itself as the artistic thing, much more so than the acting of any particular character in there, because there's a lot of other people, there's a lot of other tools that could have been used for that role if you were to think of the actor as a tool. And this is where the James Plimpton crowd, the actors studio, when they get all weird about stuff. That's why I think that he's wrong. He's not. Acting isn't a rare skill. It's not a rare skill. I'm going to do a movie pretty soon, and I have 100% confidence in my ability to. And it's going to be a fairly serious role. Kind of a little humor in it. I'll be great, and the person who I choose as the other character is also going to be great, even though they're likely not going to have any acting experience. You won't even know, because it's a fairly simple thing, and it's a matter of kind of choosing someone who would be able to do what I'm envisioning. But there's probably several people who would be able to do what I have in mind, and then I can just kind of adapt things around their particular personality. And that's, but the when I'm done, the output, the main thing is going to be the movie itself, and that's how movies are. That's how movies are. Actors and acting, they can bring a connection, a personal connection. Hey, there's Warren Beatty, or there's Paul Newman, or whoever, but people overrate them. People overrate what they do. So I'm repeating myself now, but I think I've made my point.